Okay, so let's take a look at making a Google form. So what you do is when you're in your Drive, and this is a copy of my Google Drive, I'm going to go into New. And if you take a look at the options, it doesn't look like Google Forms is here, but if you look down and scroll down to where it says More, Google Forms is here, and now it's colored purple to help it to be easier distinguished from your Google Sheets. So what you do first is it asks you to title the form. So we could just call this sample form. And then if you move away from that title, you're going to notice up here, whatever you put for your title here, it's going to automatically turn your form title into that as well. So now you have an option here to make a description. This is for a training tutorial video. Okay, so that's what I'm doing right now. And what I want to do is, now that you have a title and a description of your form, let's take a look at the settings at the top. So the settings at the top are really important. The first one is if you are going to require Warren Township login to view. What that means is they have to be part of the domain. So if you're in a workshop with people outside of your school district, or if you want parents to be able to access this form, you would want to deselect that and not require login. However, if you want Google Forms to automatically collect the usernames so you don't have to ask them first name, last name, and if you later on down the road want the option to email them automatically, you would want to have that selected. And you can't have this part selected without the automatic login. So it's going to require the login in order to collect the username. So those two go together. The progress bar I only recommend for really long surveys or forms. Only allow one response per person would definitely be important if you were doing some sort of a testing or assessment situation. If it's something, or a survey, if it's something that you want them to go and vote multiple times, maybe it's a peer editing where they're, scoring each other and you want them to score every group, then you would deselect that. And shuffle question order is to prevent students from, if they have some sort of an assessment scenario using Google Forms, it will automatically shuffle questions so all the students don't have the same questions in the same order. That way, if they're sitting in front or in back of each other, it's easier for them to prevent doing that. Okay, so that's a little bit about the settings at the top. Let's take a look at the settings at the bottom. So the settings at the bottom have things like your response has been recorded. You can change that to something like, thanks so much for your participation today. You can put whatever message you want right there, and then this is if you want them to be able to submit another response. Again, if it's like a peer editing or a grading scenario where you want the kids to be able to grade each other and that you want them to keep submitting more and more forms to each other, that's good. If it's something that's a test or a quiz, you would have that not selected, deselected. This one, publish and show a link. A public link is if you want them to see all the results. So again, if it's a group editing situation, you want them to be able to see what's going on, you would select that. And then lastly, allow responders to edit means that you're going to allow them to go back in and make changes after they submitted it. You would not do that for a testing scenario probably, but you might want to do that for a survey or something that they're working on. This is important too, that if you have something that's a time test, they run out of time, you're going to need them to come back and edit. But that's actually an advanced session, so we'll talk about that more later. Okay, that's good for the settings.